this meeting to order. And staff, please call the roll.
Board Member Field.
Here.
Board Member Ransom. Board Member Mears.
Here.
Vice Chair Vincent.
Present.
Chair Golick.
Present. Okay, I'm going to explain to you the procedures and how we go about with this meeting. So for each matter considered by the board, there will be first a staff presentation, followed by the presentation of the project applicant, then discussions by the board. Both staff and applicants will have the right for rebuttal presentation prior to closing the public hearing. Public comment on all matters on the agenda will be taken during the agenda item number 6. All public testimony will be limited to 3 minutes. All public testimony must be presented to the board at the podium. The 3 lights on the podium next to the microphone will indicate the amount of time remaining for the speaker. The green light will be turned on when the speaker begins. The yellow light will come on with a soft bell ring when 1 minute is remaining, and the speaker should be completing the testimony by the time the red light comes on, with a final bell indicating the time has expired. Any testimonies that references race, religion, ethnicity, economic status, national origin, or any other classification protected under the state or federal law is in a derogatory manner shall be deemed irrelevant and will not be considered by the board in making its determination. In accordance with the Section 11, Article 2, the appellant and the department will have each 10 minutes to present their position. The department shall present first, then the appellant will present. Each party will then have 3 minutes for rebuttal. The department will present its rebuttal, and then the appellant may present its rebuttal. After the rebuttal, board members may ask questions of either party. The board will then close the hearing and discuss the appeal and deliberate on the appropriate action. Now, we will proceed with the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No.
Board members, are there any proposed changes to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as published.
Move to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion has passed. Okay, now we'll move on to the consent calendar. On the consent calendar, we have approval of the August 4th building standards. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion. Yeah, motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, the consent calendar is approved, and we will now move on the reports by the board members. Board members, do you wish to make any reports? No reports? Huh?
No.
No? Okay, then we will move on to the public consent. Public consent, we're going to take public comments on all matters. Would any member of the public would like to speak on items on continued or new matters? If so, the speaker has 3 minutes. Please identify that you will comment about. I don't see anybody, so do I have a motion to move on to continued matter? There are no items on continued matter. We will move into new matters. Okay, new matters. I will have the staff do the presentation.
You need to,
Oh, read the items, okay. actions pertaining the Fresno Code Enforcement Case Number E25-13830 concerning 3436 North Virginia Ave Lane. The notice and order issued on November 5th of 2025, and the citation issued on March 24th, 2026.
Yeah.
Staff report, please, first.
Yeah.
Please state your name.
All right. Good afternoon, members of the board. We had planned a presentation in speaking to the appellant. They had scheduled an inspection with planning on August 12th. That did not occur. Our inspector went to planning this morning. And indeed, planning did not go out as scheduled. So we are in agreement with appellant, is our idea and request to continue this hearing 60 days so that they may continue to work with planning and to get that. And that would be, I did submit a findings matrix. It is the middle option of the findings matrix. I have an additional copy, but that is our request at this time to continue this 60 days for a final progress hearing.
Okay.
Would you like to add anything, sir?
No, I'm in agreement with that.
You're fine with that?
But again, they didn't show up.
Okay, all right. So we cannot.
Could you please come to the microphone so that it's got to be recorded and everything, just proper procedure.
Hello. Yes, we had something planned for, what day was it?
The 12th.
The 12th, and I took half a day off of work. I was there. I told the person, Valdez, that took my request for it, give him my phone number if he needs, anything. I'll rush home if I have to. This is the third time. It gets a little old, having to ask my work to, take time to do this. I do appreciate the 60 days, but, I'm here,
And can you give your name and relation?
Oh, my name is Caterino Pardo. I actually live in the 2 rooms. That is my cousin. We share the house.
Okay.
And I'm ready to work on this. I have a contractor, I was told to, wait for, what's really needed, and we still haven't got that.
I have a question for you. What method did you use to call your inspection?
I called the number that Derek gave us. She had all our stuff on file. She says, oh, yes, I see you guys. Let's try it again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So staff is okay with giving this extension? You're
Yes,
okay with
60
that?
days
So,
for another progress hearing.
all right, we're all good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked the board members.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 60-day continuance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you got your 60
Thank you.
days. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Will there be a date on that, or does that come later?
60 days from today,
Okay, thank you.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, let's go for. So we're done with this one? Is there another one here?
Before we move on, I'm a little concerned if gentlemen called 3 times for an inspection and they don't show up. That's not right.
Yeah.
So we've got something wrong with the system. I'd encourage the building official to take a look at that and see if we can get that fixed.
I agree with you. So we'll investigate. All right, item 8B, actions pertaining the Fresno Code Enforcement Case E25-16660 concerning 1347 East Shields Avenue, and the notice and order issued on January 2nd, 26.
Good afternoon, Christina Pena, Deputy City Attorney. Before I get started here, I did speak with the appellant, Ms. Porter, this morning. She was unable to make it to the hearing this afternoon. But fortunately, she has been working on progress on getting into compliance. So I can go ahead and proceed. It's a really short slideshow today. So if it's okay, I'd like to proceed. But just to give you a heads up, I'm going to be recommending a continued progress hearing. Not a continued of today's hearing, but just another additional progress hearing. So we can get into that. Oh, here we go. So today is a progress hearing. There are 3 options presented to the board today. The first one is to determine whether the appellants have not made substantial progress toward correcting the outstanding violations from the notice and order that was issued in January 2026, and order payment of double of fines. Or option number 2, which is to determine the appellants have made substantial progress towards correcting the outstanding violations from the notice and order that was issued and continue the hearing to a later date, or determine the appellants have fully corrected the outstanding violations from the notice and order. As I just mentioned, I will be recommending option number 2. This is a explanation of today's progress hearing and what's needed to be determined, whether they've made substantial progress or have fully corrected all remaining violations. This is more text of the municipal code section outlining the rules for today's hearing, which you already know. And so here's a summary of the last hearing that was held on June 2nd. At that date, the board did affirm the notice and order and determined that there was a covered patio that was added without the required plans, permits, and inspections, and that there was also an enclosed patio that was added without the plans, permits, and inspections. It was determined that both violations remain uncorrected and ordered the appellants to cure the violations within 30 days. This is the city's update on the violations. On July 2nd, 2026, the appellant, the property owner, Ms. Porter, did schedule a consultation, and a residential ADU assessment checklist was completed by Planning and Development Department. During that inspection, it was determined that there was a bedroom that was added with permits back in 1949, but then that was converted to a second unit, and a kitchen, restroom, unpermitted patio was added and converted into a bedroom. So there were a lot of alterations made without the plans and permits. It was also determined that a separate address would be needed for the duplex and that planning would be required. And that's the end of the slides that I had. So that's the update. So because the appellant did get that consultation completed with planning, it's the city's position that progress has been made. Even though there's been no progress to the actual home, that is a significant step. And right now, based on my conversation with the appellant this morning, she is waiting for a response from planning to determine what code year she will be allowed to use. There's a difference between, I think the earliest they found was 2005, or if it'll be 2026 codes. And so she's just waiting to hear back from them, because that will make a big difference on whether or not that duplex will be within compliance or if significant further alterations will be made. And then at that time, that is her decision on, to move forward with plans and permits at that time, or another option for the property.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, I'm recommending number 2. And again, I did speak with Ms. Porter. She was in agreement with that as well. I told her I would represent to the board the conversation had and the request that I would be making today.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any comments from the board members?
One quick thing, if I remember correctly, she works out of town or lives out of town a lot of the time. Wasn't she a nurse?
I believe she works out of town,
The Bay Area?
Bay Area, yeah. So she was in the Bay Area this morning, yes.
Traveling nurse. And she was traveling nurse.
Yeah.
Traveling
Yeah,
nurse,
she's a
right.
traveling nurse.
Yeah, I
So
believe so.
my question would be, can we either, one thing would be to set a date that gives her plenty of notice so that she can make sure and be here for the next one, so we
Right.
don't go through this cycle again, so that's all I was
Right,
thinking.
right. And by that time, I mean, I would be okay even 30 to 60 days, at the most. So we can reschedule this again in 60 days. By that time, hopefully she'll have an answer by planning, and then we'll have an answer for the board on the progress and what's going to be planned for the property.
So do you know, you raised the question of the building code that she would be under. Planning doesn't make that determination, so is she actually in consultation with building, on the building side of it, on that question?
And that is a good question. I'm not sure. She's waiting for a response. She told me from Douglas Ettinger. Yeah.
Yes, that determination would be made by the Building and Safety Division of the Planning and Development Department. Thank you.
Yeah, I was concerned about that, determining what year. And basically, the ball is in your court then. She's waiting on you, I would think. So how could we make a determination of 30 or 60 days if she doesn't have an answer? So,
That's not my
Oh.
determination. Again, she's waiting for an answer from Building and Safety then. If that's
Okay.
who she needs to speak with, then I'll make sure, and I'm going to call her today after this hearing to give her an update so that she
Okay.
can follow up with that division and find out what's going on.
Yeah, and if they don't get it done, then there's another continuance,
I get it.
right?
Well, the good news is, they now have someone here, Mr.
Right.
Hayes, that can be brought into the conversation if needed to make a higher level decision.
Okay.
So I'll move to approve a 60-day continuance.
Any seconds?
Some discussion about that. Does that work
Second.
for staff?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So we'll have a
Opposed?
second progress hearing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll wait for them.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let's move on to 8C, workshop. Robert, rules of order. And this is sponsored by the Planning Department. So I move to the secretary and intern secretary. Do you have a report? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, presentation.
Presentation.
Challenge me with how to work this, huh? Okay, I've heard that one before. Good afternoon, Board. I'm here to present an overview of the Robert Rules of Order, kind of a refresher. In my conversations with the majority of the board members, my understanding is a lot of the members sit on boards and are familiar with the Robert Rules of Orders, but sometimes it's always good to have a refresher to ensure that we don't talk over each other, records are clear, communications are uninterrupted, and everybody has an opportunity to speak. So with that in mind, I will begin the presentation. Which way is forward? Why do we have the why are Robert Rules of Order important? Robert Rules of Order is a nationally recognized guide for conducting meetings in a smooth, orderly, fair, and transparent manner. It provides predictability for the meetings and structure for the meetings. It maintains order and efficiency, ensures transparency and accountability, protects the rights of all members and participants, and ensures that all viewpoints are heard and properly recorded. Why do we use the Robert Rules of Order? The rules keep the meeting and discussions focused and on track. It prevents chaos and individuals from talking over one another, and allows for the recording of the proceedings in a proper fashion. It protects the minority viewpoint, creates a clear record of the meeting in the event that there's a dispute afterwards, and ensures that decisions are legitimate. The standard structure of the board meeting takes on various forms. And for our purposes, the standard structure for the Building Standards Appeal Board meeting and hearings is set forth in the board's agenda and script that's provided to the chairperson, which includes calling the meeting to order, a roll call and establishing a quorum, approval of the agenda, reports, unfinished business and continued matters, new matters, scheduled and unscheduled communications, public comments, and adjournment. Not necessarily in that particular order, but in order that's convenient and conducive for the particular board or committee. During the control and member conduct during the meetings, it's important to remember that the chairperson leads the meeting, enforces the board rules, and establishes time limits for the public communication and input. Board members wishing to speak should request to be recognized by the chairperson and only speak when they're recognized by the chairperson. And that is allowing for the order and continuity of the discussions. Members' remarks should be directed to the chairperson unless the members are asking questions of the presenter after being recognized by the chairperson, as in today's hearings where we had Mr. Vincent had some questions regarding the presenter, and he was able to, after being recognized, he asked questions directly to the presenter, and same with any other members when they have a particular questions. They ask to be recognized, and then they go ahead and proceed with the questioning. The board members must treat public comments as input and not engage in dialogues with the speakers. You don't see that too much here, but you do see it in city council meetings where individuals come up and make public comments, and they try to engage with the chairman of the city council or a member of the city council members, asking them questions, trying to get them to respond. And you'll see a lot of times where they just sit there and listen, and that's their obligation. It's just to sit there and listen and not engage or get into an argument, dispute, or a question and answer period with the person making the comment. Motions and deliberations. When taking actions on a matter before the board, a member must make a motion. Another member must second the motion. Then the chairperson, for the record, should state the motion, and the members then deliberate and debate the motion if necessary, and the members vote on the motion, which is recorded into the minutes. Common examples of some of the motions, and just for your information, the Robert Rules of Orders comes in a variety of different formats. I mean, there's bound books that are thick. There's this thick paperback book, and there's pocket books for Robert Rules of Orders that abbreviate stuff. And I will always have a copy at hand in the event there's an issue or a question regarding Robert Rules of Order. But some of the common examples are call for the question. When there's a board member who thinks that maybe we're violating some of the rules or going off track, they call for the question, which requests the end of the debate on a particular motion and then asks for it to be voted on. A point of order is what I was off track on. Point of order is used by a board member to bring the the chairperson back and say, point of order, I need clarification. There may be a rule violation going on. We need to discuss this. and so we get back on track and streamlined. Point of information was used to ask for a question of the board. Move to amend, used to amend a motion if that's necessary. Move to end a debate, which also leads to a call for the question. Move to recess or take a break, which is not too many of those occurring here. And a move to adjournment, which is something that always occurs, and usually our meetings aren't that long, prolonged, but they can be. And there may be times where they need to be a motion to take a break, a motion to, and then a motion to adjourn or continue. And there's a variety of different motions, tons of motions, and I'm here to provide guidance if there's any question on what type of motion or how to phrase a particular motion for the record. Summary of the board's obligation. The Building Standards Appeals Board must follow Robert Rules of Orders when conducting its meetings and hearings, making motion, engaging in debates, and voting. The chairperson must maintain order, fairness during the meeting. The board must ensure that there is a quorum before conducting business. And the board must treat the public comment as input and not engage in dialogues or debates with the speaker. In conclusion, Robert Rules of Orders ensures hearings are lawful, orderly, and transparent, and properly recorded, so that in the event there's the need, for example, if there's a writ taken after a decision from this particular board, everything's well recorded and properly recorded for a record that may be used subsequently. And ensures that the proper record of the meeting and hearings are preserved, like for any particular action that may occur after this board's decision, because this board's decision is final on the matters before it. The participants do have a right to appeal the board's meeting in the event they disagree with the board meetings by seeking a writ or some other type of review. With that short presentation, are there any questions? I know it's simple, it's a short presentation. I did that deliberately because a lot of you are familiar with the Robert Rules of Orders, but sometimes we need to remind it so that we can have a clear record. I do notice that sometimes the clerk is trying to understand when too many people are speaking at one time, to ensure that we slow down a little bit and we direct all our questions to the chairperson, so the chairperson can recognize you, so that the person, a member, can then make their presentation or make their motion or make their statement. Are there any questions?
I have one question.
Yes.
It's more of a point of information. Thank you for your presentation, very clear and good, but you made something happen in my brain, and the question I have for you, is it 3 that constitutes a quorum for our board?
For your
What
board,
is that number?
you have 5, so 3 would be a majority.
So 3 is the number that constitutes?
Yeah, 3 is a
quorum.
quorum, and we conduct business on a quorum.
Yeah.
And then a majority vote, I think we've had that occur once, where we've had 3 members that, because of conflicts of scheduling, we had 3 members present, and there was a 2-to-1 vote, which constituted a majority, and whatever that matter was proceeded on that vote.
Okay, thank you.
If anybody's interested, you're welcome to get some sleeping material to,
It is.
or doorstop.
I do have a question for you. I guess it's a point of order. I notice when these items come up, we call for the vote. We're not calling on individuals to record their vote. We just do it as a group. Should we be doing it by roll?
It can be done a variety of different ways. It can be done by roll call vote. For example, if there's a contentious matter, sometimes someone will request a roll call vote. Other times, it's as simple, the chairperson can call, all those in favor say A or yes. Those opposed say opposed. It can take a variety of different formats. but it depends on the material, and it depends on the complexity of the material, and sometimes there will be a call for a roll call vote, just for clarity, especially if there's a matter that may be contentious and may ultimately be taken on a writ.
So it is best to take the vote and call their names out loud and say,
That's entirely up to the discretion of the chairperson. I mean, and our matters are very, they appear to be very simple. They don't seem very complex. But in other matters that are complex, there you may need, there's a lot of there may be disagreement among the board members, and the board members may want to say, look, let's record this right. I'm calling for a roll call vote. A board member can ask for a roll call vote, and they can say, I want a roll call vote, and then the clerk will go down the roster and say, Mr. Ransom, you vote, and then it goes down
Okay.
the roll call.
sounds good, okay?
Isn't that normally held under larger board
It
scenarios?
is, and under complex matters, you'll see both occurring at the city council meeting where simple matters are, consent matters, all those in favor, yes, no. And then in another complex matter, they ask for a roll call vote because it's a contentious matter or a political sensitive matter or a something that they want to somebody wants to make sure that they put everybody on record of how they vote on a particular issue. But in our matters, they seem to be very mundane and not very complicated.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I try to keep it simple because I respect all your experience on boards, but sometimes we just have to remind that in order to maintain a good, clear record, we need to follow the procedures.
I have a question, if you don't mind. So just to use an example from today, is it correct that after the vote is taken, at that point, the hearing on that item is closed and there should be no further comment or discussion of that item after the vote has been taken?
That is correct. It shouldn't be any formal discussion. Now, if,
Informal, is that okay?
well, no, then you start crossing over to potential Brown Act violations. But I'm saying if the two individuals are saying, well, I like that person's coat or I like that person's presentation, that's something that we don't want to do it in the formal setting of a board, but that could occur. But
Commentary about the item that should occur before the vote is taken.
correct. All debates should occur. When in doubt, have your debate, discuss the issues fully, and then when you're confident that it's been resolved or you're not making any progress one way or the other, somebody can just call for the question. And then he'd move to call for the question. Second, closes debate, and then you vote.
Okay.
Hopefully that won't happen, but it could happen. And like I said, I will always have a bigger version of the Robert Rules of Order present with me in case there's questions in the future.
So the chairperson would be stating the motion.
Would- Yeah, the chairperson is the person that controls the meeting, and when there's a motion made by another member, the chairperson is supposed to state the motion
State the
for the
motion, okay,
record, so
okay.
that it's clear what the motion was, and if there's a correction to the motion by another board member, they can move to amend, move to correct, move to modify the motion, and then there's discussion again, and then once the motion is final, a version of it is final, then the chairperson states the motion, then calls for the vote,
Okay,
calls for the question.
thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the next item, and the report from the secretary.
I have no report at this time, but I'd like to introduce myself. Bill Hayes, the interim building official for I'm serving at the pleasure of the city of Fresno. Nice to meet everybody, and I'm here to help in any way I can.
Very good.
Thank you, welcome. Now we'll move to the scheduled communication, oral communication. I see none. So we'll move on to the unscheduled oral communication. And is there an unscheduled oral communication? Does anybody want to say something? No? All right, let's move on to and adjourn this meeting. It's 1:35. This meeting is adjourned.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, there has to be a motion.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 1:36, the meeting is adjourned.
That's it.